Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is Thursday. Where am I in this mess? There we go. It's Thursday, September the 22nd, 2022. It's another Technical Alpha podcast. We're back after a break from last week as I went away to one of my grandmother's funerals. And now we're back. And of course... Well, actually, I shouldn't say of course. This is the first time that we've actually taken a break from a week for any reason in which not only, like, just everything happened all at once. Like, in the last 10 days, gaming news popped off. I mean, that week it was like E3 all over again. Nintendo had a Direct. Sony had an event. Microsoft was at TGS, had an event. It was just everything happened there. Then this week there was even more shit that went down in peripheral and otherwise. And so very wild last couple of weeks. But we'll try and highlight the important stuff anyway this week as much as we can in the time that we've got. But if it's your first time here, welcome. It's Technical Alpha. We talk about video games, movies, television. Let me answer questions from the folks at home at the end of the day, but only those that pay us, because, let's be honest, in this economy, asking questions for free? Not possible. But thank you for joining us, whether you're here live or on the RSS feeds or otherwise. We greatly appreciate it. And now, before we get started, I have the most important question of the week. Mr. Black, how was your weeks?
Good. Busy, but good. That's pretty much it.
Fantastic.
Still closing on these properties. Yeah, outside of that, just not a whole lot. Been
Wonderful.
just streaming a lot.
Awesome. Nothing wrong with that.
No.
We before we went away last week, work on the house is continuing on as planned. I still don't have a date from our guys on Windows as we approach ever closer the month of October. So I'll be calling them probably tomorrow. If not today, by the time this is done. Although I think they might be closed around the time that we're done. I would have called them earlier, but I was hibernating. Em and I got our bivalent boosters yesterday. They posted those up for everyone 18 and older, and we managed to get same day. Just not far from here, so we stopped in and got those, and so we were sleeping that off, especially Em, because she worked a night shift last night, and so she got the booster and then went and worked a back shift, and so her body is fucked with the capital F at the moment, and she's sleeping even longer than I did, but not feeling too bad. It's basically the same as the last booster. You know, the low grade body ache type bullshit and just a little bit fatigued, but I don't feel too bad. Just popped a Tylenol here, I'll be good to go. But other than that, yeah, so at the house we are in painting mode. The doors are on round 3, so they've been primed and 2 coats, but the wood was never really sealed. Originally it was kind of just like bare wood with like a single layer of urethane or some shit. And it's the thirstiest fucking wood I've ever seen in my life. You drench the roller in paint, you put the roller on, and you're already dipping the roller back in the fucking paint again. It absorbs all paint. You get one roll on. You get it in, you walk over the door, you put it down, you go, and you gotta put it back in the paint bucket again. So it's absorbing every ounce of paint. I'm gonna have to get more paint than we thought, that we needed. Because I think they're gonna take We're going to take two coats if we're very lucky, 3 on some doors. And so we are just in the midst of painting those up, and the wood frame, the door frames and window frames all throughout the house as well, aside from downstairs, because I don't give a fuck. And then after that's done, it will be ceilings. So we're just slowly picking away at that. But obviously we slowed down a lot because last week we were gone for multiple days. Mom and Dad were gone for 3 days, and Em and I were gone for a couple of days. And then as soon as we got back, we are Dad started getting prepared for my other grandmother's funeral, which is we are still forging ahead with it because it's apparently going to be where we're holding it is going to miraculously not be hit by this hurricane, and so we're making that work. They went down early though, so they didn't have to drive through the hurricane, so they left earlier today, and Em and I will probably literally go down the day of the funeral. So we stay back to watch the properties to make sure nothing, if anything, if the storm were to like move a little bit in our direction instead of towards Cape Breton, we're here to take care of the properties. And then once that's all settled, we'll go up on Sunday and another funeral. But Dad needed to go down because Dad had to dig the hole and whatnot. Not a huge one, mind you, because she was cremated, but he has to get that stuff prepared. So it's just been a roller coaster of emotions week for the last 2 weeks. It's like funeral, couple days no funeral, and back again, and just kind of intermittently working at the house a little bit and streaming when we got some time. But that was my couple weeks, and then played NBA 2K23. Don't buy it. It's my review. If you ask me what my review is, don't buy it.
Don't buy it.
Just don't. I know it's the only basketball game in town, and that's a problem. But bro,
one thing that I did do this week.
What's that?
Is I spilt chili all over my desk.
Oh.
And you ever spill something and then like 5 days later you're still seeing splashes of shit? So my desk. I need to like completely clean my desk. It went all over my monitor. It was
Dude,
like,
did you spill chili or did you throw chili? What happened is
I threw
okay.
It. Basically, what happened was is I had my bowl down and then I moved my arm and the spoon was in there and the fucking spoon just flicked shit all over the room. It was
no.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
god.
man.
And chili's top 10 don't want to spray everywhere situations.
Bro. So like it was on my wall up. I was on a painting
your
up here
wall?
on my monitors on my desk.
Oh my god.
I'm just seeing it. I'm just seeing it just randomly. So every day I've got there's just like new fuck it looks like somebody just skeeted fucking chili all over my damn shit. So anyway, that was
there you go.
Yeah.
That's a highlight of a week right there, and another 2 weeks of randomly finding chili strewn
this
about the
started
room.
as a full thing.
Holy shit.
And now it's down to whatever.
Damn.
So yeah, so
save the
highlight
trees,
of my
Jeff.
week. Yeah,
Save
highlight
the
of my
fucking
week.
trees. Everybody here using half a tree to clean up some chili. Holy shit.
So anyway,
yeah, no, I've been there before. It's and honestly, it probably was chili or spaghetti sauce, one of the two.
yeah, it's pretty much
when you're eating
yeah.
spaghetti, like the one thing that I've learned streaming over the years, where we were part of the generation where you streamed 14 hours a day, you ate every meal in front of the monitor. The one that I learned over time to just avoid like the fucking plague is spaghetti.
100%.
Just don't do it. I don't care how
100%.
I don't care how neat you think you are or how white you are twirling that shit in a spoon, do whatever. That shit is going to be everywhere by the time you're done eating that fucking spaghetti. Your monitor caked. Your fucking keyboard drenched. There is no way of eating spaghetti at a desk while you're streaming and not having it go completely tits up. So, you got to avoid that like the plague. Lots of stuff, like I said, happened. We've condensed this down as much as possible and within reason. But we got some stuff to talk about. So shall we talk about some stuff, Mr. Black?
Let's
talk about some stuff. Let's get this one out of the way, just because it's pertinent to the platform that we're currently on right now. In the span of less than 24 hours, it was a hell of a day for Twitch, Mr. Black, and all of those involved at Twitch. Twitch hit us up with banning unlicensed gambling platforms, just a couple of them. Basically, there was a lot of stink kicked up about various gambling that was happening on the platform. And Twitch was like, you know what? Sure, we'll get rid of the stuff that's a little sketchy. We'll get rid of the ones that are unlicensed in the US. And so they did, which honestly, I mentioned as soon as I saw it, I was like, holy shit, that might be the fastest action I've ever seen Twitch take on literally anything in the history of the platform. And then we found out why later on. So in that same 24-hour span, essentially, what followed that up was the old 3 a.m. razzle-dazzle, Mr. Black. 3 a.m. release on Wednesday. Getting turned up on a Wednesday, 3 a.m. Twitch said, shit, press the fucking nuclear code button. And so they did. They launched this out, and you know what it was? It was the 70-30 split, where they needed to announce to the world that that was going away. Which for some people meant that they were learning for the first time that there was even a 7-30 split, or 70-30 split, which I didn't know you could be involved in Twitch in any way, shape, or form and not know after 13 years of this platform that there was a 70-30 split that was available to certain partners. But here we are. So how do I go with this? Oh, to follow this up. So the trifecta. There's three things. So it was first we got the gambling platform ban. But what happened was at first I thought that was like they're like, you know, give a little something that the community wanted and then fuck you. But in fact what happened was about 45 minutes to an hour, somewhere in that neck of the woods, if you look at the publishing time, there was an article put up on Bloomberg about a pretty deep dive investigation that one of their journalists had been involved with for some period of time now, in which there has been a massive investigation into Twitch's problem with child predators. And that was published on Bloomberg. And then an hour later, Twitch was like, we need to divert all PR resources into making sure that nobody talks about that one. Because that's a PR nightmare. Even if it's not necessarily Twitch's fault up front that anything like this would be happening, it's a bad fucking look. Because upwards of 279,000 in this report had been was highlighted as a number for this issue on Twitch, and so that was a little bit rough. So about not long after that went up, Twitch was like, all right, fuck it, press the button, let's change the narrative up, and something that we need to talk about anyway. And so they did, and it's the 70-30 split. So, basically, for those who didn't know about the 70-30 split, and likely an 80-20 split that existed for absolute pinnacle fucking people on the platform, 70-30 existed for... How do I even describe this? So at first, when Twitch first became Twitch, and they had the partner program and whatnot, there were accounts that were partnered back then, that would be considered grandfathered accounts now, that were granted a 70-30 split. Way long time ago. Like forever ago. And then when partner eventually became more and more of a commonality on the platform, that kind of almost became mythological, the 70-30 split. And then that's how people in the community, viewers, started talking about it as some sort of fucking literal mythological creature to be slain, the 70-30 split on Twitch. And it still existed much for these grandfathered accounts, and going forward for certain very large streamers. Now, what was the cutoff point? Like, what was the goal to attain? That was a moving target for 10 years. Like, Twitch would just arbitrarily decide who was going to end up with the 7. There was no internal memo that said, all right, guys, so when this stream hits X viewers or X subs or whatever the fuck for this period of time with this many, streaming hours in a month, whatever, that is the set. None of that shit existed. It was just basically kind of like it was a card that could be brought out when people hit a certain status on the platform, however they attained such status, and it was available. It was always kind of there. And most people that have been on the platform for some time would know that it was technically attainable. You just had to hit some sort of fucking magical, mystical fucking numbers in order to make it happen. So it was there. And apparently, Twitch now at this point has decided, amongst all of the other myriad things that they're changing on the platform for monetization, like cramming just about as many ads as one could possibly humanly take as pre-rolls for many streams. I think I've seen 8 to 10 pre-rolls. Which is actually almost comedic, because do they really expect anyone to sit through 10 consecutive advertisements? That's more than cable television, just to put that in a fucking perspective. So people rightfully a little salty about that, but hey, they're looking to make some more money. So between that and the various other changes that they made to the platform, this was one that I think a lot of us saw coming eventually. but it showed up now. So how are they doing it? Well, in 2023, I think June was the month that they gave, somewhere in that neck of the woods. They are going to cease this contract capability of having a 70-30. And those who already have 70-30 on their accounts, and this is where I've seen some people talking about two different sides, and I'll get Mr. Black's take on it if he's read it himself. They mentioned that there's a threshold. So for 100K, so for those that still have the 70-30 split in their contract, whether it was a grandfathered contract, a more recent contract, etc., the 70-30 split on the first is only good for 100K in revenue for them. And then after that, it goes away. But what people have been discussing, and there's some uncertainty about it, and maybe by now, and I've been asleep through most of the day, it's been sorted out by now. What was uncertain was, does that mean that once you've hit 100,000 in sub revenue at your 70-30 split, the contract reverts to a 50-50 in perpetuity?
No, it doesn't. It's per year.
Or is it per year?
Per year.
Okay.
So
some people were like, is
year,
it month? Is it year?
No.
Is it permanent? So it's 70-30 on the first 100K, then it's 50-50 above 100K for the rest of the year. And then in the following, is it fiscal or calendar? Do we know that? Is it Twitch's fiscal or our calendar?
I think it has to do with your
contract date?
So I think whatever contract date, it's going to be different for many other people.
Okay.
So I think mine is in June or July, something. I think it's in June. So yeah. And then the 50-50 I think is only for tier 1, and then I think tier 2, tier 3 is like 60, and then 70%.
Oh, so it does like the scale thing that they had in other things?
So it still scales up. I mean, my information could be incorrect, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. Let me double check here. Yeah. So yeah, tier 2 will be 60%, tier 3 will be 70%. So that's that. So basically, you're not really getting nerfed all that much on the tier 2, and you're not at all in tier 3. It's really just for those tier 1s and prime subs that you're gonna get screwed on. So for those who don't, to put it in layman's terms, if you make $100,000, the first $100,000, assuming that you are a 70-30 split content creator, okay, I'm one of them. So the first $100,000 I make, is fine. Anything beyond that 100,000 through subs, my split will go down to 50-50 for the tier 1 subs until the remainder of that calendar, or either of my contract or the calendar year. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it is for the time that you signed your contract. So if that's the case, then once that renewal comes up, you then go back to the 70-30 split until you hit the 100K again, and then the same thing will happen on repeat, essentially.
Yeah, so it's so with that, and that's what I thought when I read it, that it would roll over. I just didn't know the time frame in which it would roll. So what makes that interesting to me is that this is a particularly interesting move then, because
I know exactly why they're doing it.
It's only hitting extraordinarily specific ends of the streamer spectrum for partners.
And they're doing that purposely. And here's why I think.
Hit me up with the knowledge, Mr. Black!
Yes. So this is why I think. And I do have some insider information.
Uh-oh.
So I think I'm right. These individuals could be wrong. But
allegedly,
right? Okay, I really shouldn't say insider information. What I should say is
you talk to another partner. Ish.
Yeah, ish. So from what I'm gathering, and I mean it's common sense. I mean, I don't really want to call it insider info because it's common sense at this point. Is Twitch wants to play more ads, right?
Way more.
There was somebody I was watching on Twitter that wrote up a big long tweet about the profitability of Twitch and stuff like that, right? So I'm getting some of my information from this from.
It wasn't Ryan, was it? Like the
No, I think it was somebody else.
Okay.
Somebody else.
Okay.
But I saw this tweet. I read it. It made sense. I asked another person. I said, "What do you think of this?" Or like, "This is 100%. This has got to be the reason why." So this is why
I need to be brought in on this information, Mr. Pike.
Okay. It's public knowledge, but I'll share it here.
I need to know.
So what I think, and I could be wrong. Once again, I'm not saying this is pure factual, but I'm speculating, and there's evidence here, and you guys can make your own conclusion. I think that the reason why Twitch is doing this is, number one, is they need to start making money. I don't think Twitch is all that profitable.
Yeah.
For
Amazon.
For Amazon.
Yeah.
For as big as Twitch is, with the amount of money that they've been throwing at certain streamers, the amount of space that it takes to hold VODs and all this other stuff, and to just run the site in general, I am sure the number is astronomical, and they probably are still losing money, or if not, the profits, like if they are making money right now, they need to figure out a way to continue to make more and more money. They just don't want to, sort of stay wherever. So I'm assuming that either they're losing money, which they very well could be with how much acquisitions and different things they've been doing lately. If not, they're not making as much. But to get to the point, I believe that they're doing this for two reasons. The first is they want to hit the top 0.01% of streamers. So we're talking the ones that's got anywhere between 3,000 subscribers concurrent up to 50,000 concurrent subscribers.
There's probably less than 100 people that this affects.
It's probably a bit more than that now, I would imagine. There's probably I would say it's probably less than 1,000. Say it's less than 1,000. Okay. It's going to be more than 100.
Okay.
So, the people that have several thousand, I mean, really the real ones I think that they're targeting are the top dogs, the big dogs. But I mean, if you have several thousand concurrent subs, like you're a top dog, like you're making 6 figures a year easily. So, what I think they're doing is they're hitting them, because think about it. If there's a streamer that's got 10,000 subscribers, right? They're making, if they have a 70-30 split, right? They're making really, really good money each month, like 25 grand, right? No, actually more than that, 35 grand.
It's 30, that's like 35 grand, yeah.
35 grand, right? So they're making $35,000 a month just in subs, okay? So that 100,000 will get eaten up in 3 months, just like that. So there's 9 months of the year where now they're taking a pretty significant drop. Like that's a fair amount of money over the run of a year. So what they're doing is they're gouging the streamers a little bit, but they're incentivizing them to join in on the ad revenue programs.
Yeah, which we've talked about before.
Programs.
The new
and they're huge, bro.
Where they make like fucking ridiculous money for playing ads.
I have them. They're they're it's to the point now, and it's genius of Twitch. And this isn't me shitting on Twitch because, yeah, it sucks. Like, because I'm going to be affected by this to a degree, but if they're making up for it, and I can actually make more money from the ad revenue, then I'm obviously going to play ads because it's what's making money. So what they're doing is they're incentivizing streamers now. They're saying, okay, we hit you, but we're introducing this new program that you can make up all, if not more, and in most cases it's more money if you run ads. The problem with that is, from a streamer standpoint, is now they have to spam ads each hour and upset their fans to make up for the money. And probably in most cases, they'll make a little bit more than what they were before. But it's a trade-off now because they have to hit their viewers, the ones that aren't subscribed, that see ads or that don't have turbo. They're going to have to play more ads in order to make that up. And now the streamers can explain to the viewers, I have to play these ads because, well, you guys see what's going on. I'm losing. Like, to some of these streamers, they're going to lose hundreds of thousands of dollars a year off this change.
Yeah.
And in some, they might lose $1,000 or $2,000 a month. That's still a lot of fucking money. And the money, where the money is on Twitch is through ads. I'm making more money off ads than I am subs. And it's been like that for quite some time. The only caveat is you have to stream a lot and you have to play a lot of ads. So, your incentives change each month depending on how much time you're putting into your stream and what your concurrent viewership is. So the ones that this really hurts, though, the ones that this really hurts are the ones that have very diehard fan bases that do a lot of support via subs, but don't have large viewer numbers. So, for example, if you're a streamer and you've got thousands of subscribers, but you only have a couple hundred concurrent viewers, you're going to get screwed because your ad incentives aren't going to be big enough to make up for the loss that you're taking. But for the big streamers, the ones that are really, really big, that's got thousands of viewers or tens of thousands of viewers, they're going to make hundreds of thousands of dollars a month in ads, depending on how big their streams are. Or in some cases, if we're being realistic, maybe tens of thousands of dollars. There might be a few streamers that are in the six figures a month for ads. But still the really big streamers, I'm not going to say any names, but everybody kind of knows like the upper echelon of streaming. The ones that are holding tens of thousands concurrent viewers, or even 5,000 to 10,000 concurrent viewers, they're still going to make tens of thousands of dollars a month in ads, or at the very least $10K a month in ads, bare minimal, if they're willing to spam the ads. That's the kicker. So what I think Twitch is doing, and it's kind of smart because Twitch is making more money off ads. If these companies are coming in and they're going to give Twitch $100 million to run ad campaigns for their movies or whatever things it is, then and it's not just I don't know exactly what the splits were because I don't want to give incorrect information. But okay, so the ad revenue share adds up to 55% net ad revenue. So we're not even talking about like small amounts. These are big ad incentives that like you're actually getting a piece of what Twitch is getting campaigns, and you're like getting a piece, like a real piece of the pie. You're not getting some sort of like some sort of YouTube distribution where you're getting like $2 per 1,000 views. Like, Twitch is really hooking up with the ad revenue because they want to incentivize, they want to pay their streamers well via ads, so they keep playing ads, so they can keep getting more ad buys, so they can actually make money. That's what I believe is really going on. That's what's being whispered, and in some cases being shouted on Twitter that I'm reading, is it's all because Twitch is moving into the ad space. The subscription space is really for the streamer. It's not really for Twitch. Yeah, they make a lot of money off subs, especially since they added in gifting subs. They found a way to get into the pie. But I think the big hit, like where they really want to get their money and where they can really become profitable, like take their profits to another level, is through ads. And that's why we're having this shit shoved down our throats. And they're almost, I know strong arming is probably a bit of an aggressive term to use. I can't really think of any. I guess the word I'll use is they are gently pushing.
They're coercing.
They're coercing. There you go.
They're coercing a little bit.
They're coercing streamers to play these ads. And what they're doing is they're taking a bit off the top, because who gives a flying F if the smaller streamers are spamming ads? They're small streamers. They're not bringing in anything. They need to penetrate the top. They need to penetrate that 0.01% of Twitch streamers to play the ads. That's when the ad revenue really starts pouring in, and that's why it's only affecting them. If they wanted to just keep all of their top streamers super happy and do nothing, they would have just left the 70-30 split and still give the ad incentives. But if a streamer's making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month or tens of thousands of dollars a month in subs, then a lot of them go, why am I going to blast my stream, my community with ads? I'm already filthy rich. Like, why? What's an extra $10,000 a month to play these ads and potentially lose viewers because I'm spamming so much? And then my counterparts, the other top dogs, aren't spamming ads. So if I keep spamming ads, they're going to go to the other people. So what do? You cut off the top a little bit, make everybody at the top hurt, and incentivize them to play the ads, to make up for what they lost. Instead of saying, well, I don't want the extra. Instead, take some. And if they want to play the ads, they can. And if they don't, they just want to take the cut, they can. That's what I think is going on. And it makes sense.
Yeah, I agree. I agree that all that makes sense. And like we had talked about that ad incentive change not that long ago, probably like within the last 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, and we knew that something was likely going to be a follow-up to that because of the sheer amount of money that Twitch was shelling out for these ads. My question is, and I'm just asking this as a follow-up. I didn't really think about it until now. But so we know, for example, that their primary competitor, YouTube, is across all forms of monetization a 70-30 split. So whether it's super chats or whatever the fuck else, it's straight 70-30 from ass to mouth, basically. And the whole thing is covered real easy. Now, if your main competitor is doing that, and you're doing the reverse, where is Twitch's end game? Instead of why, like if it's really about ads, right, where this is all the money is going to be made, and in Twitch's eyes, they can't make enough money with subscriptions to float the company. Now, I will say this. Their message was fucking hilariously stupid. The thing that they posted, where they posted public fucking rates for AWS as a discussion point around how expensive it was for them, and then also targeting streamers that streamed 50 plus hours a week or some shit, was absolute fucking nonsense. Imagine thinking that Amazon buys fucking Twitch specifically for their stack and then charges them public rates for the fucking AWS. Get the fuck out of here. You're not getting those rates. You're getting a way better fucking deal than that. Don't try and use that shit. And the vast majority of streamers aren't out here streaming 200 plus hours a month. That's just not the norm. So using that as some sort of, those two things as weird metrics to like limp in and be like, oh, we're so poor, we need more money, was a really fucking stupid thing of them to do. But let's say it is that the ads are where they're trying to do their long-term profitability. And so why take away 70-30 at all when you could leave 70-30 and just move it, instead of it being a mythological creature to slay? Say, okay, guys, look, 70-30 has kind of been in the background for some time. It's been an attainable thing through various means, but now we want to actually make it as a landmark for certain streams to work towards, to have the 70-30 in the exact same way in which now every 70-30 is grandfathered technically, because they're only leaving this for currently like existing 70-30 contracts. So and they fucked themselves because they never wrote themselves an out in these contracts to be able to change it up. So why not though? Just have that be the norm everywhere. You hit some threshold. You hit the threshold, for example, where they actually believe that the ads start to become a factor.
I told you. I just explained it. I believe that they're taking a little bit off the top on all the top guys and gals that stream on the platform to incentivize them to run ads. Because if they stay at 70-30, and dude, these streamers are filthy fucking rich.
No. I think you're misunderstanding me. I'm saying leave this as a benchmark to, let's say, 3,000 subs. Was suddenly now your contract can be 70-30 split for the first 100K, and then change to 50-50 until the end of your contract year, just like they're doing with these grandfathered ones, right? And make that for everyone because their competitor is 70-30 across the fucking board. And if the whole idea is to incentivize people at a certain level, then you make the entry point to 70-30, even if you're not going to give it to everyone like YouTube. You make the entry point the tipping point for where they are currently making their calculations, which we assumed was somewhere in the neighborhood based on their $100,000 a year of loosely 3,000 subs a month. So if you made it so that everyone that hits a 3,000 sub a month threshold for, let's say, a certain number of months, let's say 2-3 months or whatever, to prove that you're going to hold those numbers, and it wasn't just like a guy came in and gifted like 6 million subs, and you said, all right, your contract can now be 70-30 split up to 100K, and then after that, it's 50-50 going forward.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
So I like YouTube's doing everything, but let's say Twitch doesn't want to go that route. Why not have have a goalpost for aspiring streamers on the platform to hit 70-30, and then have them, and then everyone's still incentivized to run ads? Because right now, they're doing what you're saying. They're taking it off the top, but it's not. But there's no low end incentive for like starting streamers.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. Yeah, here's the thing: is I actually don't know the inner workings of the 70-30 split and what qualifies a streamer for that.
Nobody does, because I personally think it's been completely random for 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, I got mine a decade ago, right? So
yeah, exactly,
or not a decade, but like close 7 or 8 years ago, right?
Yeah.
And I got mine through a handshake, in person. So.
Yeah.
But Twitch was a very, very different thing back then, and I've stayed on the platform, and I've had thousands of subs since, right? Yeah. So whatever the qualification was, I've always been qualified. But people are still getting 70-30 splits. I just think it has to do with how many subs you have, and then if you have a some streamers have managers like representation, that you can go to directly for any issues. I don't know. It's hard for me to speak upon this because I actually have no idea, so I'm speculating.
Yeah.
Because I don't think there's anything in the background on the back end that like, hey, if you hit this many subs, you're now getting a 70-30 split. I don't think that exists.
No, I don't think it exists. I'm saying why wouldn't they why wouldn't they implement that?
Correct. Well, because they don't need to, right? So it's like, why would we give money? Here's the thing. YouTube, Facebook, they're both of them are doing fine. YouTube obviously better than Facebook. They're on the come up big time in the streaming world. But I still think Twitch is in a league of its own. And I think now at first Twitch was concerned about the competition. And so they were buying people up. There was these bidding wars. And the only ones that really benefit from it were the streamers that were getting these multi-million-dollar bags. And if they got in early enough, they got to renew and make another bag. Now it's becoming harder and harder for streamers to get these big lucrative deals unless you're a massive streamer or you have a massive YouTube following and then YouTube wants to take you over. And if you look closely, a lot of these pickups are all these friends that all live together in LA or Texas, and they're all in these circles, right? It's just it's all about who you know, right? And then they use friendship and collaboration as leverage. Very smart. The streamers aren't dumb. So good on them. Make their money. But I think now Twitch, and once again, speculation, I think now Twitch is getting out of that rat race, and you can kind of tell from when they're like, hey, you can now stream on multiple platforms. You just can't stream on YouTube and Facebook at the same time. I think that Twitch is saying, you know what? These streamers are going to do what they're going to do. At the end of the day, we've built this brand over the last decade plus, and it stands for itself. And the reality is people want to be on Twitch. And I don't think that Twitch is going to go out of their way to make newer content creators thrive. I think their focus is on the big content creators and and pushing the middle size content creators that have promise so they become big. I'm not saying that they don't care about their new streamers. Of course they do, because they could be the future and they will be the future. But I think that they aren't getting too ahead of themselves, and they're not as worried as they used to be. And now they're just worried about becoming more profitable and making money and kind of going from there. This whole streaming wars thing, it's not as intense as it used to be. It's still there, but I think YouTube has its lane, Facebook has its lane, Twitch has its lane. And Twitch is always going to be on the top, I think, indefinitely. And no matter how many fuck-ups Twitch does, or bad PR they get, or decisions they make that don't make no sense, I just think that it's in culture, it's ingrained that Twitch, you look at it, when every streamer I've seen that left YouTube or Facebook, and they come back to Twitch, what do they all say? I'm coming home. I'm coming home. And everybody gets excited, and they have bigger viewerships and whatnot. You've seen what Ninja did the other day, which I think was pretty cool, is
he's streaming everywhere all at once.
Everywhere. So he just got rid of his partnership, right? His sub button. And he's saying, all right, if you're going to let me stream, he streams everywhere. And he does that, and then he gets like 10 times more viewers because he's everywhere. And if you're smart and you're big enough, these subscription stuff, like I don't think people understand. For streamers like me and smaller streamers, and even a little bit bigger than me, the subs mean a great deal. But for these streamers that have tens of thousands of viewers, or even 5K, 7K, 10K concurrent, the sub money is peanuts. It's side money. The sponsorship deals are in the millions with an M. And at the very bare minimum, hundreds of thousands just on the brand deals, like the long-term brand deals. Then you've got the one-off brand deals. We're talking promote this company. We'll give you 50 grand this month. You know, you need to have like a lot of subs, like 20,000 subs to make that type of money. The sub money is nothing. I think Twitch understands that as well, is that for the top echelon, if they really want to lure in these big streamers that already make the money, they got to incentivize them with the ads. Cut a little bit off the top so they feel like they're missing something. Like, shit, yeah, okay, I got to make a lot of money, but damn, I'm getting $10,000 less a month? Holy shit, this ad incentive's here? I got to play this amount of ads per hour for however many hours, and I'm going to make this much? Man, okay. I guess I kind of have to, because it looks so good. So that's where we are. I just think the ones that really suffer are the ones that meet that 100,000 plus qualification, that have the smaller communities that can't bring in those larger ad incentives. That's why in the notice, they say something along the lines of, you know, which will benefit and change for most streamers. You may stand to benefit from the additional ad revenue from this program if you haven't already. So they almost make it seem like, hey, you can potentially make up this. They don't say like, hey, you're guaranteed to make more, because it really just depends on your community size, how many viewers you have. So, you know, I don't know. Maybe they have a bit different plan in mind and I'm just way off base. But from a streamer that's been in the space my entire career, my adult life, and I've seen the ebb and flow of Twitch, and I've talked to some other people, and I'm seeing some certain articles, and there's some people going into deep dives about certain things, and I'm mixing it all together. Ads are the future for Twitch. I really, truly believe it. And I think it's going to get worse before it gets better. I just hope that they find a way to do the ads so that they don't feel as intrusive on everybody. If they want people to play them, at least we don't have ads that are like, you remember that time where ads, you play it and it'd be so fucking loud it would blow out your speakers? At least we don't have that anymore.
Or like an hour long.
Yes.
Like a random ad would be like 45-minute unskippable.
Exactly, right? So they're getting smarter about it. They're getting better about it. I just think now we're in a weird transition phase. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I don't enjoy the ad incentive program, because, you know, it really what it does for me, and this is something that a lot of streamers won't talk about because it's fun to shit on Twitch when you have the opportunity to shit on Twitch. And I can say this from a streamer standpoint, and I'm sure there's a lot of other streamers that will agree with me. There is something nice about this ad incentive program that I don't feel like I have to whore my viewers out and remind them to subscribe and support me every 10 minutes. Because Twitch has created a culture that, like, if we're not reminding people to subscribe or asking people, almost like e-bagging for people to subscribe so that we can have a certain number or reach a certain goal every day and just shove this shit down the viewers' throats, it feels nice that, like, ever since this ad incentive program, I've lessened the amount of selling out I've done, like, that I do, because I don't feel right playing so many ads, but then also, asking people to subscribe every 15, 20 minutes. And thus my sub count has taken a hit because I'm not hustling as hard to get that sub, to get that prime before somebody uses on somebody else. it is nice to just let the ads run. The ones that don't want to see the ads, they can subscribe and they don't see any ads. And then the ones that do, it's like, it's unfortunate. But this is the strong arm that like we're forced to do if we want to continue to make a living on Twitch, especially the streamers that aren't mega streamers like myself. Like I'm still in that like limbo where I'm big, but I'm not like super big, but I'm not small. So I kind of still have to hustle around a little bit to make to make a good living. So, you know, that's my 2 cents of it all.
Yeah, I'm what I'm interested in now is what's the next step? Because clearly this is like a step in a series of steps. This wasn't like the final destination.
Yeah.
So what I'm interested in now is what is the next and the next few steps. You know, what is Twitch's end goal? Because clearly they're working towards a new paradigm of revenue generation on the platform for themselves and by proxy the streamers and content creators on the platform. And so I'm interested in what comes next. Since they're pushing ads so hard, it wouldn't shock me if they start utilizing the tiers of subscriptions, to start gating the no ads rule. So now it's not tier 1. Tier 1 is you get your emotes or whatever, and then tier 2 you're getting now at tier 2 you get your ad-free experience.
Yeah.
Is it maybe that's their direction.
It would be nice too, and hopefully Twitch will do this. And I think because they're going into such an ad-heavy platform, and it's not just my stream, you see it everywhere on Twitch, bro. If you click on a channel, you walk in there, it's like 5 pre-roll ads before you even see anything. Like it is 100%. They are going into an ad-driven formula to become profitable. And what I hope they do is I hope that there's an ad dashboard on the back end where we can pick and choose the companies or the types of ads we want to run on our stream, how many times a specific ad can be shown. Just give us a little bit more control. If you really want to partner with the partners, then allow us a little bit more flexibility to choose what type of shit we want to be played on our streams. I think if they give us more control, I don't think streamers will be as combative on the change. But I think right now we're just in a weird place where they're implementing some big changes. It's affecting certain streamers. It's not affecting certain streamers at all. Like the vast majority of streamers are not affected by this. The vast majority of streamers do not make $100,000 a year in subs.
Yeah.
So like this is for a very elite level of streamers that, make a lot of money to begin with. Doesn't mean that you should take it. I mean, we still got to pay taxes and everything else. Like, we're already getting gouged, but at the end of the day, it's not like the entire platform is being fucked by this. It's a certain people. And lastly, I believe that they're targeting this certain demographic so that the high-end guys and gals play more ads so they can get more ad buys and make more money.
Well, buckle up, ladies and gentlemen, or prepare your Twitch turbos to avoid the absolute fucking ad landslide that is going to become the norm. Because that's just going to be the way that it goes now. It's going to be, I don't know, it'll be very interesting to see how long it takes for a culture surrounding ads being okay from a viewer standpoint, and what they start to do to provide viewership with inroads to circumvent ads to make up their money anyway, because there's pretty much every other media platform in existence right now exists in their current state because people didn't want to watch advertisements all the time. Whether you're talking about streaming platforms versus cable television, or you're talking about on cable television having PVR that you could then record a show and skip through all the ads, etc., etc. Everything in its current state exists on the concept of reducing the amount of ads that a viewer has to watch for a given dollar that they're paying. And so it'll be fun to see what Twitch does in concert with this whole move to try to give that incentive, because nobody wants 5 pre-roll fucking ads of 45 seconds a pop just to see if they're interested in a stream. It's just not going to happen. So
I'm agreeing on you on all fronts. I'm not as upset as people. Yeah, I'm going to be affected to a degree, but it is what it is. Like I don't have my pitchforks.
It's just a
out.
rough look when your competitor is 70-30 across the board and you're coming out with this. Like there's no easy way to like try and spin that.
It really is, but I think I don't even know. Like, yeah, they're competitors, but I don't even know. Are they really competitors?
Not right now.
I don't know. Yeah, I know.
But I don't think Twitch gets to be on an island forever.
I don't either. But I don't know. I know, but we've been saying that for years, and it's still they're still doing it. And yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah, YouTube. I guess YouTube gaming is a competitor, but it's not at the same time. Like, it's a really weird. It's a weird thing.
Well, they don't have to be in a rush to try and like meet them.
Correct.
So it's not like, it's not like Mixer that was like aggressively trying to buy their way in a very short period of time. YouTube could play the long game because if you had to like ask me which two companies is going to exist in the year 2085, YouTube is going to be there and Twitch will not be there.
100%.
So
100%,
YouTube can slow burn the fuck out of this shit and play it however they want.
Yeah.
And so it really does put the fate of Twitch really does, in my opinion, rest in the hands of Twitch. It doesn't rest in the hands of YouTube unless, the only caveat to that would be, and I don't think this would happen, unless YouTube literally woke up one day and chose violence and just decided to go fucking full bore on going live streaming, then Twitch is fucked. But until then, and I don't think it's going to happen, Twitch has their fate in the palm of their fucking hands. Yeah. They just have to keep Daddy Bezos happy. They got to keep those jets going into space. And so you got to make those dollars. Got to get those penis rockets up to the moon.
Yeah. That is what it is.
Oh, there you go. There's your first major topic. Let's get on to see. We got a couple other ones here. Thankfully, lots of this doesn't have a lot of serious talking points. NVIDIA announced their 4000 series of GPUs this week, Mr. Black, with some absolutely monstrous pricing. They can't, unfortunately, make all their money through advertising, unlike some around here, so they have to charge increasing amounts of money for people to buy graphics cards to play Uno on their PCs at incredible 4K resolutions. The 4090, Mr. Black, set to launch at $1,600 US. Eye-watering. And keep in mind, that's their MSRP, which means
it's gonna be
you can
higher.
add like $300 to $400 to that before they fucking get anywhere near the hands of somebody. So you can assume close to $2,000 US, which means in Canada you're close to $3,000 for a 4090. And it doesn't get a hell of a lot better. So you step down to the 4080. And the 4080 has two models. It has a 12 gig model, which is completely useless, by the way. Nobody should buy it because it's supposed to be for 4K graphics, right? 12 gigs of RAM is like your absolute entry point of VRAM for 4K in any stressful environment. So you don't even ignore that. They had that listed for $800 US. But don't fucking go anywhere near it. That's going to be dead in the water. Nobody should be buying that shit. The next one that's also a 4080 is their 16 gig model. Now that one has enough VRAM for the purpose it was designed for. Unfortunately, it's $1,200 US. So you're paying $400 more to get access to what that card is technically supposed to be for, which is 4K gaming. So that's kind of fucked up. Those are the only two, as usual, when they announce these. They don't show you the 4070 or the 4060, the mid and upper mid-range cards. But one could assume that those will be in the neighborhood of probably $650 for the 4070 and about $400 and something for the 4060 when they do eventually come around. And to answer Shady's question, is this because of the microchip shortage? No, it is not. This is NVIDIA just testing the waters with how far they can push this shit into the fucking sun. It has nothing to do with it.
Well, the only way it's going to change is people just stop paying these ridiculous prices for these cards. But like, I never. This is one segment that and we shouldn't stay on this forever because
there's nothing else to say about it other than that.
But I'll say one thing because I normally shut the fuck up through all this fucking tech talk because it just means nothing to me. I don't know how they continue to sell these many cards because there's a new one. We talk about a new graphics card, Adam, every 3 months. I shit you not. There's a new fucking series out. It feels like every goddamn 3 months. Like
it's not that frequently, but they have like a half step every like 6 to 9 months after the arrival of, and then it's once every couple of years you get an actual refresh like this one versus the 3000 series. It does. Okay, I know to you it seems like we're on this shit all the time.
Bro, we talk about graphics cards every fucking 3 months, and we're talking about prices.
We talked about Intel the other time. That was what you're thinking of last time.
Okay.
Intel's specifically for like encoding video on the last one.
Yeah,
this
it's
is
just like, dude, I bought my 2080 Ti. I think that's what I got, a 2080 Ti.
Yeah, begrudgingly because your shit died.
My shit literally caught on fire, and I had to go and buy one, right? And I paid like $2,000 for it. No joke.
So much money.
Fucked. I absolutely got fucked. But here's the deal: my graphics card works perfectly fine.
Oh yeah,
it plays all games, all like brand new game come out right now. It would crush it. Why in the sweet fuck are people going out and spending $1,600 for graphics cards that you don't even need right now? Like, I mean,
bro, listen.
We're in a goddamn recession.
Listen.
Where people like?
You want to know the secret to this? You want to know the fun part about this? These have gotten. It's not just the upfront cost now, Mr. Black.
Oh,
these cards take up. Some of these cards take up 4 PCIe slots.
That's so fucking dumb. And then what? You got to go buy a jumbo motherboard for $1,000 to run these fucking things.
You can buy a motherboard that supports it. But
a battery or a fucking power supply.
They come with a stand to hold it up because it would rip the fucking motherboard to pieces because it weighs so much. Then you know what the minimum power supply requirement is that they're stating?
What do you need? Like fucking 800.
850 if you have an AMD system. If you're running Intel, you should really be thinking about 1200 watts at this point. Because the Intel chips are getting thirstier and thirstier, and these graphics cards are pulling like 500 watts.
Why? Like
just the graphics card.
I just don't get it.
500 watts.
I just don't feel bad. Like, listen, the ones that are buying these cannot complain. The ones that are buying these cards, they just can't complain about these prices, man. Because it's not even the card. It's like going to buy a Ferrari. Okay. You go to buy a Ferrari, and they're like, man, this fucking Ferrari is $400,000. Holy shit, this is fucking expensive. But the ones that are buying it should be rich, right?
Yes.
They should be rich.
Yeah.
But then when you buy the Ferrari, they don't realize that it's going to cost you $3,000 for an oil change. You want new tires on there. You want new rubbers, and you're going to go through a set every year, bare minimal. You're driving a Ferrari, okay?
You leave the driveway, that's half the tread on your tire.
That's going to cost you another $5,000 right there. Just your upkeep maintenance a year will cost you like $12,000 a year. Insurance ain't no joke. Gas? Huh. So, it's the same thing with these graphics cards. You're going to go spend $1,600 on a graphics card, but then you're going to need to go spend $1,000 on a motherboard. Then you're going to need to go spend $500 on a fucking PSU. Then you're going to need to go and fucking spend whatever else the fuck you need to spend to get all this shit going. So get fucked. You want to buy a $2,000 graphics card, get ready to own a $7,000 PC to run it. Then we're going to talk about the power that you're actually going to use to fucking run the damn thing.
500 watts, bro.
Like,
500 just for the graphics card.
It's just
some of the processors are at 350 to 400 now.
It's crazy. It's absolutely insane.
People are, you know what the equivalent, people don't understand this. Some of these systems are pushing a point now where they're almost the equivalent of running a high-powered blender in your kitchen the entire time you're gaming.
Yes.
You're drawing over 1,000 watts from your wall, constant.
All day.
All day you're gaming.
Yep.
Your power bill will literally go up hundreds of dollars just from putting that GPU in your fucking PC. Here's the problem though, and why it's a bit of an issue, is that what they do is they discontinue older cards really quick. They pull them off shelves even faster, and your only options, like when you went in and you had to buy yours, you get fucked. You don't have an option. You literally you have to. Well, here's the option, and what I think is going to happen. You know what looks really good? An Xbox Series X with Game Pass.
Looks real fucking good right now.
I see you got right there.
Looks real good.
Right there. Mini refrigerator.
Hey, there's your $7,000 replacement.
There you go. Less than $800 Canadian. You got yourself a console and a year worth of just infinite games.
I don't know, man. I don't get it. I mean, I understand it if you're a miner, if you're an animation, you're doing something where like you can write this stuff off. You need it for your business. You know, technology is getting bigger. It needs more. But for your everyday consumer, holy fuck me, man.
That's
you're
insane,
crazy,
bro.
Just crazy as hell. But hey,
remember
you got the money.
Remember when we built your last really powerful one when we were first getting bigger in streaming? Like way back in the day, we bought your 1080 Ti.
Yes.
That launched in Canada at like $600 or some shit.
Yeah,
and everyone back then were like, oh! Because we were used to like high-end cards being like $500, $450.
Yeah. For a good graphics card. You know,
we haven't even gone a decade into the future.
Nah, bro.
They're launching at $2,000.
1600 US. Anyway.
Hard pass.
Godspeed.
I'm hoping my graphics card does not explode.
You better
Please.
fucking pray. You better pray to the gods. You better You know what you should do? You should be preemptively buying a fucking graphics card on the market
right now, and putting it in a box in a room,
and inside the closet, and wait for the day your shit blows up. Because if not, you're gonna be left with a dick in your hand, going shit. I got no choice.
You want the follow-up 1-2 punch here? EVGA said NVIDIA's garbage to work with. So garbage, in fact, that they're leaving the graphics card game altogether. So the one company that you and I've been getting you EVGA cards for years, and myself included, because they're the best third-party fucking graphics card maker, period. The second being maybe Asus on a good day. They're gone. Bye-bye. Because NVIDIA is so shat to fucking work with. They've literally get out the game.
Dude, in 10 years, it's going to be, have a PC, it's going to be a $10,000 machine in 10 years.
That's to play Tetris, bro. We'll be playing 4K ray trace Tetris for $15,000.
Oh, shit, man.
Last week, Mr. Black, Ubisoft announced, along with some 5 upcoming Assassin's Creed games, and I'm not joking, they literally announced like 5 Assassin's Creed games in one sitting.
So they basically announced one because they're all the same anyway.
Yeah, more or less. Well, there's 2 flavors now, so I'll get into that. There's 2 flavors of Assassin's Creed now, Mr. Black. So they announced 5 of them. They also said they're joining PlayStation in the move to making all of their AAA titles start at $70 US. Buckle the fuck up. To go along with your $1,600 graphics card. Among the myriad of Assassin's Creed announcements, one that is set in Japan was announced, which stood out given the fact that they had previously said they didn't want to actually go down that road. But my assumption is, after the success of Sekiro and Ghost of Tsushima, they changed their mind. They went, oh shit, people really want that. We should probably do it. And so they are. And to mention the 2 flavors about this, so the 2 top titles that that people are talking about are Assassin's Creed Mirage, and then I can't remember, they called like the Japanese one Code Red, very fucking original, which isn't the actual title, it's like the project name for now. But Mirage is more of the original, like let's say Assassin's Creed 1 and 2, what we got back then. So actual Assassin's Creed. The Japanese-based one is going to be more like their more recent titles, which was more like an open-world RPG kind of a situation, which is what those games trended towards, and then eventually just full-on became fucking open-world RPGs. They weren't really Assassin's Creed anymore. So we're getting the 2 flavors now. We're getting OG and we're getting open-world RPG. And so there you have it. You got 5 of them to choose from. One of them has to stick, Mr. Black. They threw 5 games at a wall. One of them has to stick. And it better stick for $70 fucking US when they launch that shit. Perhaps the best news old people like us may or may not have heard in a while. Goldeneye, Mr. Black! They finally fucking figured it out. The most complicated and convoluted licensing fucking rat's nest in gaming history. The Goldeneye 007. Well, you wouldn't think it was the case, but it is. They finally figured it out. Microsoft had partial rights. Nintendo had partial rights.
Sold.
Yeah, well, even before that. So as far as the games go, to that specific one, GoldenEye 007, the N64 game. Because everyone's been like, everything has been remastered, re-released. Where the fuck is GoldenEye? People have been saying this for like fucking 10 plus years. Well, it's mostly because Microsoft, partial rights. Nintendo, partial rights. And so unless they got together and both agreed to something, it was never going to fucking happen. But it seems like it's finally fucking happened. And here we go. So there are 2 different releases, and they're very different releases. Microsoft's side is getting the treatment of the like a AI upscaled 4K. It's still the original graphics. It's just being upscaled to a 4K and an actual full frame rate of 30 or 60, probably 60, not the the 10 to 24 that we got on the N64. And local multiplayer is being supported within that package. No online multiplayer for the Xbox because they would need to create and maintain actual servers for this thing. And in order for that to go by, Nintendo's side is releasing theirs. And Nintendo's is if you want to get more of the emulated experience. Because theirs, like their other N64 releases on the Switch, is literally an emulated N64 version of that game. And they are also adding on their like faked multiplayer. So the N64 games on their platform, like that they have up to this point, several of them have this like faked multiplayer. It's kind of like back in the day if you emulated N64 games, there were a couple of patches that you could put in an emulator that would allow you to do multiplayer with people over the internet within these games. That it makes the emulator think everyone's in the same room using certain, the 4 controllers. That's what Nintendo is doing with their emulated stuff, essentially, more or less. And that's what they're doing with this one. So you'll get the original GoldenEye, assuming it's not broken, like some of the emulated stuff has been on the Switch, plus the online, but I would be hesitant to say that's going to be incredible because it's Nintendo and it's online and it's emulated all at the same time on a Switch. It's probably not going to be that hot. And honestly, if I was going to get anything, the Xbox offering, personally for me, way better. I get like 60 FPS. I get up-res to 4K, so full 4K on my TV. And so you play split screen on a big-ass TV. You get the guys come over. And you go back in a time machine. That's what you want. You don't need more than that.
Yeah, no, fuck that. That's the play right there.
So that's pretty fire. So I'm kind of excited about that. That might be enough to get me to buy a fucking Xbox by itself because it's only coming to the Xbox, not the PC Game Pass.
Well, good news. You can actually buy Xboxes. So
you can. You walk out and buy one.
I just went to Best Buy and bought an Xbox.
It's true.
It's that easy.
I was trying to wait for the 2 terabyte model to eventually drop before I bought one, but this might push me. It might push me over the edge.
That I'll play on it, bro. 1 terabyte is probably way more than enough.
Unless it's Call of Duty. Then you're gonna need
I'm never playing Call of Duty.
67 terabytes for Call of Duty. But that's true. That is very true. Where am I now? Not long after people were confused and a bit upset about the prospect of having Overwatch 2 characters locked behind the paid part of the Battle Pass that they announced, the replacement for the crates. It was clarified that the new characters are apparently going to be part of the free Battle Pass tiers. So you can be, free to play, still unlock the new characters as they appear in the Battle Pass. That is possible. Now, how much work you're going to have to do to get to them, I couldn't tell you. Also this week, though, in relation to that, the lead character designer Jeff Goodman was announced to have left Blizzard earlier in the year. So this happened earlier. I never heard about it before, and they were saying this as if they were just publicly announcing this for the first time. But that might also be part of the reason why, of course, Overwatch 2 was a bit rough along the road to release. They hemorrhaged a lot of people, including their lead character designer, it appears. 343 Industry took another hit in the news cycle this week, Mr. Black. Big shocker, I know. As the longtime head of the studio, Bonnie Ross, announced that she was stepping down earlier than intended. It's earlier because of family illness, I believe it was, that she listed, but she was going to be leaving in the fall of this year either way. And this is not, this is my own personal notes here, but this not being related to Infinite's performance seems basically 0% chance. It's very unlikely as they continue to struggle to bring anything for this game together. Forge, I think we talked about before, is probably their only hope for now. But yeah, you really do have to believe that somebody has to take the fall eventually. Somebody is going to get blamed, one or more people, for the performance of Halo Infinite and the Halo brand in general. And Bonnie Ross has had the helm for, well, since 343 was basically instituted. So there you have it. More just more rough times over there. 343. It's a tough life over there. Nintendo held a direct last week where we got the full title of the next Legend of Zelda game, and that is that it is going to be called The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, which is probably why they pushed the direct away from the Queen's funeral, because holy shit, the fucking coincidence of the Queen passing and the title of the next Zelda game, too fucking good.
Yeah, that wouldn't have been a good look.
Yeah, they literally delayed it. They said in respect to the Queen, we're gonna push that one out. And people were like, really? It's a Nintendo Direct. Like, is that? And then they announced the title of the game, and everyone was like, oh.
That could have gone bad.
Fair ball. Okay. I see why you did that there. So they announced the full title of that. They didn't really have much else to show off about the game, which is, a little bit weird to me because we're actually approaching relatively close to the release, and we've seen very fucking little of this game. We also got about 1 million farm-related games in this direct for some reason. Just myriad farm games. For whatever reason. So grab your straw hat and shovel if you own a Switch. You're gonna need one. They also announced a couple other things, but those were the two primary things that were the takeaways, as far as I'm concerned. Then we had the PlayStation Direct, which got a bunch of people that are terrible at fighting games, super excited about Street Fighter and Tekken. Both of the upcoming games look really, really good. People were getting excited about making a character in Street Fighter. Yay, fighting games. I'm one of those people that would be really, really terrible and have at least once or twice in my life been baited into trying to buy and play a fighting game, only to be reminded why I don't play fighting games. I'm fucking bad. Really, truly terrible. Also during that, we saw, of course, we saw Project Eve, which we've seen before, but apparently the name has been changed to Stellar Blade as the final title name. And that got a fair amount of positive social buzz. Then we saw God of War Ragnarok, and big shocker, Mr. Black, it proceeded to blow the tits off of everyone. Looked good. Shocking that God of War Ragnarok looked fucking incredible. Visually, anyway. I know the gameplay is neither here nor there for me like the original one, but I mean, you can't say that they're not fucking good-looking games, because they are. Also, we discovered during this, around this time, that Yakuza devs let everyone know that Yakuza being used as the game names moving forward is over. As it's no longer really part of that series, they will move forward with the Like a Dragon name instead. And we had Yakuza Like a Dragon, and then some spin-offs from that, and now it's just going to be Like a Dragon, and Yakuza is not going to be part of the naming convention any further. Xbox, as I mentioned earlier in the podcast, made an attempt to convince people in the Japanese market that they should buy an Xbox at the Tokyo Game Show as well in the last week. BlazBlue and Guilty Gear coming to Xbox in 2023. Ni no Kuni Remaster was announced and is available right now on Game Pass, with the second Ni no Kuni game coming in 2023. And Xbox really does keep trying to win people over in Japan, but my god, it's like it just seems to be like this impossible task for them to break into the market. Although the S has given them a little bit of leeway, it's certainly not been easy for them over there. In arguably the largest leak in gaming history, Mr. Black, a hacker was able to gain access to Rockstar's Slack, allowing them to pull over 90 videos and possibly even source code to Grand Theft Auto 6. And I have to assume that the RP community talked a little bit about this amongst themselves in the last few days. But just an absolutely monstrous leak. Definitely, as far as I'm concerned, the biggest in history, if not in size, certainly in importance. There are few games that a leak of this magnitude would mean more to the industry than a Grand Theft Auto game. And this was a bad one, the real bad. And the guy that did it was also the guy that hacked Uber and had the balls to actually say that he was willing to talk with Rockstar about possible way to bring this to a resolution. Instead, what's happening is the FBI said, we're going to look into this.
Oh, that guy's fucked.
Very.
I mean, he picked. Yeah, I mean, he better.
I said in my tweet, the only company I can think of that I would want less legal heat from than Rockstar, Disney.
Oh, Disney. Yeah. Well, there you go.
For me, it's Disney, Rockstar, Nintendo. Nintendo gets litigious, but over like really weird shit and like kind of like not huge.
Yeah.
Disney will come for your life. Rockstar come for your life.
Man, that guy's gonna be. He better have some good anonymity on the internet, man, because they coming.
Oh boy.
You think they're just gonna? You think that they just said, "Oh, okay, this is a leak. That's it. Just whatever. Ignore it."
Well, that's I think the scariest part is when they did do their public release. It was really low key. And I was like, oh no, that's the kind of shit that, there's always the person, the people that you need to be concerned about when they're angry are not necessarily the ones that like scream and yell and stomp around the room and all that shit. It's the one that's quiet, that suddenly stand up. And then you're like, oh wait, they don't do that.
Yeah.
Oops. That's who they've decided to go to war with.
I mean, he must be a hell of a hacker. I'll tell you that. He must be a hell of a freaking hacker.
Well, it depends. If it's on Slack, it could be as simple as one employee had a shit password and it's game over, right? Like depending on which employee it is. That's kind of just the way that it goes these days. It was unlikely that it was like a direct server on Take-Two's fucking end that they managed to get access to. It's just, but that's wild. Now the upside is, as far as I'm concerned, look great. Considering how fucking early the footage was, I was like, yeah, fuck me. Pretty good. And it's Grand Theft Auto, really. It's going to be a good game. Like, fucking relax. It's fine. It's fucking okay. Not to be outdone, Mr. Black. Blizzard had looked at this news cycle with the leak and said, leaks? We could do that. And release some of their own. And if you ask me if I believe that this serendipitously happened, basically inside of 24 to 48 hours of the Take-Two one that took over the internet for a while, so that they couldn't also hop on the social media bandwagon where every time somebody put in leaks, they might actually take a look at one of Blizzard's games instead of somebody else's. I tell you, you're probably wrong. Because this shit came out, it was like 40 minutes of very specific Diablo 4 footage leaked, allegedly coming out of an internal family and friends test play event. But again, and this is why I also think it's probably intentional, it looked pretty good. It's not super early shit. The game looked great. It was just a 40-minute fucking demo that they could piggyback off of like the biggest leak in fucking history. That shit didn't happen at the same time.
That
Come on
planted,
now.
Man. They knew what they were doing.
Come on.
Starting some buzz.
And the last thing I've got on this list, Mr. Black, we're bringing it home in a big way, and if you want to bring it up to get the official full number, Star Citizen has passed the $500 million mark raised. Woo!
Oh, let's go. Keep hustling.
Woo! It happened. They made it happen. $500 million. Can you look that? Can we see the actual number? Because you know what happens? Sometimes you hit that number and just like it kind of fucking snowballs. I'm wondering if it crawled across the line or if they rocketed past that shit.
I don't even know here. I don't even know where to find it on the damn
site. Okay.
Site.
One sec here.
I just saw the. That's so crazy.
Yeah, they have it on funding stats on their website here. I got you. They crawled. So it's 500,209,905 at this point. And still not a release date in sight, Mr. Black.
Yeah.
Nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
Remember in 2015?
Dude.
I think it was 2015. Robert came out and was like, hey, by the end of this year, backers are going to have everything that they paid for. And a little bit more. That was an actual quote. We're in the year 2022, the year of our Lord, at $500 million.
That's so crazy. The campaign start. It says in 2012, they had a $2 million. $2 million. They're at $500 million. 10 years. So much money.
Bro. I think somebody mentioned what happened. I think it was probably like, I don't know if it was like one of their conventions or whatever, but in May alone of this year, they pulled just shy of 21 mil in the month of May.
Yeah, they did. I'm looking at it right now. They made $21 million. What the fuck?
They've officially hit the more or less opening funds for Halo Infinite's 10-year live service plan.
Crazy.
God bless. You know what? Shout outs to RSI.
They're going to $1 billion, baby.
They're going
to $1 billion. I won't be happy until they've reached $1 billion. I won't be happy.
I'll be real sad if they don't hit at least $750,000 or $1 billion. If they hit 750, I'll be satisfied, but I won't be truly satisfied until I see this absolute space rocketed dumpster fire hit $1 billion.
It's impressive.
It's very impressive indeed. And that's it, Mr. Black, which means we can spin ourselves over into a little bit of sellout.
We got patreon.com/lagtv. Head on over there, support the podcast in any way that you can. If you can't afford to throw money at the screen, that's okay. Just make sure you keep following, watching, sharing, all that stuff. Or you can support our sponsor. We've got NordVPN. Just re-sign with them until at least the end of the year, so we still got some time. So make sure over this holiday season, you guys are picking yourself up a NordVPN subscription. Use that promo code OTT on nordvpn.com/OTT. Link is in the description if you're watching this on YouTube. Get yourself a massive discount plus 4 bonus months for a limited time when you get that 2-year subscription or more. It's a great way to stay safe and anonymous when you're on the internet. Watch different regions of Netflix and other streaming services at the click of a button. That's right. It's that easy. My dad uses Nord. I use Nord. Anybody can use Nord. You can use it on your smartphone, your TV, you can hook it directly up to your router if you want. You can have up to 6 simultaneous devices. Works on Mac, your desktop, your iPod, pad, whatever the kids are using these days. You can use NordVPN. If you're traveling, if you're at public Wi-Fi places, why in the world would you use their public Wi-Fi when you can use NordVPN to log in through their Wi-Fi? Do it. Make it happen. Use NordVPN. Stay safe, stay anonymous. It's 2022. Look what happened to Rockstar. All right? And they're massive. And you know they got all kinds of security. Go and get yourself at least a VPN. And stay protected, guys. And with up to 6 simultaneous devices on one account that you can have, you only need 1 account per household. You're done. It's less than a grande cinnamon dolce latte a month at Starbucks. We're talking a cup of coffee a month for the costs. Plus, when you factor in 4 bonus months when you use the promo code OTT, it's even less than that. It's like half a cup of coffee. All right? So head on out there, support them. They support us. Even if you're up for renewal and your time is up or your subscription's about to end, jump on the promo and lock that in so that you guys can take advantage of that. And I know a lot of you guys have been. A lot of you have been using them for years. I've had zero complaints from anybody that has got NordVPN through us. Not one. And I'm not even making that up. Not one. I've been with them for years. It works. You can game on them. You can stream on them. You can game and stream on them. And if for whatever reason you do have a problem, 30-day money-back guarantee, no questions asked. Try it out for 30 days. Don't like it, get your money back. That's it.
Incredible. And now it's time for...
movies and TV.
Hey, guess what? A bunch of racists got upset about a black woman starring in The Little Mermaid.
Shocker.
That Gran Turismo movie, by the way, Mr. Black, going to star David Harbour, apparently. Get the Stranger Things bro up in it. It's also going to be based on a true story. Somehow. That's quite a cast of people getting tied to this thing at this point. So, it's looking like more and more like it's a good shot at being a pretty good film, which is going to be impressive given, it's Gran Turismo. So, what are you going to do there? Ford versus Ferrari? Is that basically where the direction we're going here? Probably something like that. Somehow, Mr. Black, the Depp vs. Heard trial is already becoming a movie. We haven't even gotten out of the year yet. They're already on that shit.
I believe that.
However, I mean, it's not like it's going to be in theaters or some shit. It's going to be called, and this is one of the worst titles I've ever seen, Hot Take, the Depp/Heard Trial. And it is going to be featured specifically on and exclusively on, or debuting at least exclusively on, Tubi. Whatever the fuck that is. I actually don't know what Tubi is.
I'm not interested in that in the least bit.
No. No, I watched The Real Thing, and no movie is ever going to do that justice.
Nope.
Never. You watch that shit in real time. It's been recorded ad infinitum by every fucking person on YouTube. You could watch the whole thing in real time. Way more entertaining than whatever that movie's going to be. And imagine trying to cast somebody to play Johnny Depp. How in the fuck do you emulate Johnny Depp well enough to do that? Good luck.
No thanks.
And lastly here, we talked about it maybe being cool to see a few months ago now, I believe, but it might actually be happening now. Warner Bros. Is apparently bringing Keanu Reeves, and I believe his name is Francis Lawrence or something along those lines, as the director, back for another Constantine movie, Mr. Black. Getting a follow-up to Constantine. You know what? Like I said many months ago now. Yes, I'll watch that. Constantine was a pretty fun movie. You know, it's not
all right.
It's not a fucking Oscar winner, of course, but it's fun. It's a fun movie. And definitely would be interested in seeing an older, grizzled Constantine in with current Keanu Reeves. And so that would be that'd be good.
I know there's no more, but I just
got something else?
Yeah. So this is just funny. So there's a movie coming out next year.
Okay.
All right. And this is based on a true story. All right.
Okay.
You can't make this up.
Okay.
You can't make this up. All right.
All right.
It's called Cocaine Bear. All right.
Oh no, they're not making a movie on this.
So there was like an American black bear that ate a duffel bag full of cocaine in 1985.
Yes.
And there's a movie all about this bear going on a fucking rampage high on cocaine.
So are we talking like Sharknado level movie? Because it has to be, right?
I want to say so because I'm looking at the cast right now, and it's just like it's probably going to be something really fucking dumb. But yeah, anyway, it's caught my eye. I'm gonna watch it. It's called Cocaine Bear. If you guys want to Google it, whatever, it's coming out.
Bro. Yeah, I mean, it could have been not based on a real life story, and if you make a movie called Cocaine Bear, I might watch it.
I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch this movie. It's intriguing.
Holy
Who doesn't want to see a fucking massive bear high on cocaine eating people? Sure, I'm in.
First of all, shout out to that bear for surviving, eating a duffel bag of 80s cocaine. And because that shit wasn't exactly fucking the cleanest coke in the fucking world, I imagine. But an 80s duffel bag full of cocaine and surviving for any period of time really is impressive. And not having their heart explode instantaneously. Otherwise, I think that's it. I haven't really been watching anything. I'm still waiting, as I believe you are, for the two major shows to kind of run their course before watching the seasons of those.
Yep.
And so that means it's time to move on to
tech support.
Patreon.com/LagTV if you want to financially support the podcast and help keep this bad boy going. That's the place to do it. For $10 more a month, you get a couple of things. Eventually, people that $100, I'm going to be sending out another message to everyone once I'm moved into this home sometime before my retirement. I'm going to go back to redoing the list for everyone to get their stuff. Their physicals, but otherwise, $10 or more a month gets you a couple of perks. Chiefly, you get to ask us questions each and every week in a post I put up before the podcast called Tech Support. We answer as many as we can in the time that we have. And so let's see what we got this week, which is going to be a little thin because we went live 2 hours ahead of time. People weren't prepared.
They weren't prepared.
They weren't prepared for this hour. Caldeer says, we are 5 years after the final expansion for anything officially StarCraft related. And according to a couple of YouTubers, they are in the golden age of modding for StarCraft. To me, it's painful to know that something so amazing and awesome is never going to have any resurgence or extra life brought back into it. I can't even convince my closest friends to give it a try. Do you feel any sadness about it still, or did that pain happen soon after Legacy of the Void's release? How do we feel about the state of StarCraft, Mr. Black?
I don't have a feeling. Like I'm detached at this point. Yeah, I mean, StarCraft's my favorite game in the world. It's done a lot for me, but I'm also a realist, and it's run its course. It's run its course. Obviously, we do have that Frost Giant game that's coming out next year, or at least playable version of it, a beta of some sort. So that's going to be the closest thing that you're going to get to another StarCraft. Hopefully, that's good, and we can continue to play RTS for another decade plus. If not, StarCraft is still big enough that it's not going anywhere. Like, it's always there to play. People are going to play it and enjoy it. But its heyday is gone. It's like a fighter in its prime. It's no longer what it used to be. And it's not celebrated anymore. The devs are gone. The love, the passion is gone. Am I angry? No. Am I sad? Not particularly. I got what I wanted out of that relationship. Still love the game. Can pick it up whenever and still have fun with it, and still hate it at the same time. It's StarCraft. So to answer your question, I don't really have a feeling one way or another. I actually prefer it to be in this state than in a state where Blizzard is half in, half out. Nobody really knows what's going on. At least the cards are out on the table, and now it's up to the community to keep the game alive in any way, shape, or form. So that's my answer.
Yeah, StarCraft is kind of in a place right now that Brood War was in the early 2000s, where the esports side of it was pretty much exclusively kept afloat by Korea, and the rest of it was more or less kept afloat by people modding the game with the arcade back end, and people playing tower defense and DBZ fucking maps and all that kind of nonsense. And then there were still some people playing it legitimately, but it was even on like fast money maps. It wasn't even like necessarily straight StarCraft anymore for the vast majority of people. And I feel like that's kind of where StarCraft 2 is at currently. It's being kept afloat by the arcade side of things. There are still a lot of people playing standard StarCraft, but it's not as much as it used to be. And the esports scene is almost entirely kept afloat by the Koreans. So, I don't really have any, like Jeff, I don't have any feelings about it either way. The only thing that I would say that that I'm a little sad about is that, from a viewer standpoint, I always felt that StarCraft was arguably the best esport to have ever existed. And to not have that be ubiquitous as it was in the 2010s is a little bit unfortunate. No esport really came close in that regard for me in terms of watchability and intrigue, and matches were always very fluent and different, and at the very top levels, very impressive to watch these guys do what they and girls do what they did. And so big names and everything, all that stuff that came with it. That's kind of the only thing for me is from a viewer's perspective, because really we watched it happen in real time, and I remember the exact moment that I knew that everything was fucked. Jeff and I were at an MLG event, and it was the first one where it was the one. Actually, we were at two back-to-back MLG events. The first one where they also had League happening at the same time, and StarCraft was the main stage, and League was off to the right-hand side if you were facing StarCraft's main stage, off to the right-hand side of the arena, and that event had more people watching it, and they were 15 times louder and more engaged than they were at the StarCraft side. And I thought to myself, that's probably the beginning of the end of it right there. And sure as shit, the next MLG, StarCraft was no longer main stage. League of Legends took over as main stage, and that was the show. And it was all downhill from there. MOBA, like as the song goes, video killed the radio star, MOBA killed the StarCraft star. And League just kind of full flat took over in that regard. And so we saw it happen in real time. We knew it was coming. We were prepared for it in that regard. We got a lot out of it with our individual careers, our collaborative Lag TV career. It was great. It was 10 years, and it was wonderful. But it's just kind of the way it goes. And right now, MOBAs are still kind of king, but they're now getting battled with stuff like battle royales and shit, Apex and whatnot, and something else will come up and fuck up MOBAs eventually. It'll happen. But like Jeff said as well, it's like an old fighter out of his prime, and a lot of people just don't want to play RTS. It's a fucking difficult genre. It is not like as mechanically intense as Apex is in real time, and it is incredibly mechanically intense in real time to be doing it. It's a different kind of mechanical intensity that the average person feels like when they're playing it and they have a good game, they're attaining something. In StarCraft, the road to feeling like you've attained anything or even have like a base level of skill is fucking Mount Everest. It is enormous. Jeff's probably the closest thing to like the example of what that would look like for the average person that wasn't just born like
tens of thousands of hours.
Insane. Like training by other people that were professionals and tens and thousands of hours of grinding and watching endless amounts of footage and getting your mechanical skill up on a keyboard and just grinding and grinding and grinding and grinding and grinding.
Not easy. And still be dog shit.
And still really, in the grand scheme of things, still like, kind of like, you just crossed the fucking, you walked into the door. Yeah. Like you got, the door finally open.
I'm in the top 200, but then you realize like even being, I think the highest I got was 79th.
Yeah.
Right? And even that is dog shit in comparison. Like, you know, the top. Like
a lot of the best people aren't even on the ladder. They just don't even show up to the ladder, bro.
They don't even play it, bro. They're like, fucking ladder. These fucking chumps. Bro. Like, no, it's not easy. It's basically chess, mechanical chess at the highest level. It is the hardest video game in the world to master. Period. You can't name me a video game.
Well, other than Brood War, because it has less like quality of life.
StarCraft.
StarCraft.
StarCraft in general.
Yes,
you cannot name a video game on the planet that is harder to play competitively in the world. It doesn't exist.
Oh, for sure. No, I agree.
It doesn't exist. And it's not even close. That's the thing. Like, it's not even like, there's a close runner-up. No, it's not even close. And it's a solo game. You don't have teammates. You don't have anybody carrying you. It's you, yourself, and that's it, and one other player.
And it's kind of like watching golf in that respect. Like, people will watch golf and be like, this is the most boring thing in the fucking world, because they probably never played golf. They don't quite understand the mechanics of it. It doesn't look all that difficult. Oh, you use the stick, you hit the ball, you put it in the hole. And it's an individual sport where you only have yourself in your own head the whole way. And very similar, a lot of people could watch StarCraft, have never really played it. They just look at it and they're like, oh, this is just, you're building it up an army, and you get the bigger army, and you overthrow your enemy, and that's the fucking end of it. And you don't understand until you actually try and go and try and be good at golf for like 5 minutes. I promise you, you'll also need tens of thousands of hours to not be complete fucking dog shit. And dollars. Very expensive at golf. They're like a similar situation. It's one of those things that if you've played it, then you could appreciate it, and it made watching the pros even better because you knew how insane it was, what they were doing. But in today's world, it doesn't do two things. It's not instant gratification for the player. It's not instant gratification for the viewer, and that's already a write-off. You are already you are behind the ball at that point. So yeah, will RTS have another come around? Sure. It's going to be a while. It will probably be around the time that the people that are professionally playing Valorant and Apex and shit right now are pushing 35. 15 years.
Come on,
you'll get it because what will happen is they'll start looking for things.
Yeah, they'll mature up some.
that are a little bit whatever, and then there's a chance there's an entry point that could possibly bring it back. Continuing the question from last week, Seth asked, by that he means 2 weeks ago, when was the last time that you wanted to express yourself with the "this is fine" gif? The one where the dog is sitting in a room on fire, drinking his coffee, and saying, "This is fine." I just gotta be fucking honest with you, bro. I wake up, I stay off my phone as long as humanly possible, because I know that the moment I turn it on, Twitter is like my newspaper. I just realized this the other day. Like, you know, for me, it's not opening a newspaper, because I get all of my world news as well, because I follow news networks and stuff as well. That's my newspapers. I open that newspaper up and I read something like, you know, in states where my friends live in the U.S., they're literally human trafficking legal migrants into other places in the country while making their check-in points multiple states over to try and like play political theater with people's lives who are legally trying to enter and be part of the United States. And then like that's happening. I read that and I immediately take a sip of my coffee and my room is on fire and I go, this is fine.
Yeah.
This is fine. All it takes is for me to read to open up and see what is happening anywhere in the fucking world.
Yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at
and
too, bro.
Instantly, this is fine.
Yeah, I don't even sit on Twitter anymore, bro. It rots my brain. I've come to the point where I am consciously trying to keep drama out of my life, like because it affects me. Like it just does. Like it affects my mood. It makes me look at other people around me. Like I start to really dislike people.
Yeah.
Like I read what they're saying and I just like, are you fucking stupid? But then if I say that, then I'm now part of the stupid that is, I just turn it off. Like I just turn it off. I go on my Twitter to look for very specific things. I am not one of those people that are on Twitter sort of refreshing. Like I probably check my Twitter once every 2 hours. And you know, as of late, you know, Twitter's really been on fire. So I've just been off it because I you know, and people come into my chat and they start talking about shit. I'm just like, I'm not here for this. I'm not here for any political talk, any fucking drama talk, any that I'm here to work, have some fun, and escape this madness. So yeah, I actually feel that meme almost daily when I open up Twitter.
And it would be the same. It's the same. Like if I go upstairs in the morning, I take Em to work or I pick her up from work and I go upstairs to have breakfast and Dad's usually sitting at the table and he's got the newspaper open. I literally just have to look down at the newspaper and it's the same thing. It's just in newspaper form. I look down and I see some crazy shit and I'm like, fuck.
Yep.
It's just like, it's absolutely fucking crazy. Let's see. Oh God, Mr. Miyagi asked like 5 questions, which means they're all going to be very spicy, I'm sure. God. Miyagi, these are some interesting fucking questions. This is probably the only safe one to ask. He asks, what is your current rotation of websites or creators that you head to when you're browsing for news or entertainment?
So I'm boring, man. The only type of like entertainment type shit that I watch or news related stuff is I watch the Hodge Twins. So, you know, and I although I don't agree with a lot of their political views, I do find them fucking funny. So I do watch the Hodge Twins on YouTube pretty frequently. And then the other stuff that I watch real estate related podcasts, UFC stuff, UFC podcast shows like ESPN. And that's pretty much it. I don't really watch any other entertainment for entertainment. The other stuff that I'll do is time with my wife. So we'll watch, you know, cheesy reality TV shows or whatever. And that's sort of that. But in terms of like stuff that I watch on my own, I would say the Hodge Twins are really the only like content creator that I watch on the regular. And I watch them to laugh because I just get their personality and their humor. And yeah, so that's pretty much as far as I go for entertainment.
Yeah, I'm kind of similar. I don't have like a huge list because I don't really sit down like that often to just straight up watch videos.
I watch Hot Ones as well when there's new Hot Ones out. I watch that
Hot
too.
Ones I watch almost every one whenever they get released because that's just, I mean, Sean is the greatest interviewer of our generation, like pretty much hands down. And it's always a good time watching that. So Hot Ones is one. Outside of that, whenever Internet Historian puts out a main video, I'll go and watch that. That dude's a fucking god as far as I'm concerned. So I'll watch those. And other than that, other than that, like I'll watch the occasional, like if it pops up, if I'm eating and I just need something to just have in the background or whatever at the time. Reaction videos either out of Moist Critical or Asmongold are both usually relatively entertaining to watch them react to or talk about various subjects happening in the world of entertainment or in content creation that I just don't like of all the stuff that happened. We very purposely avoided it this week because neither of us can fucking care to look into it or want to even talk about it. So I'll go to them and be like, all right, what are they saying about it? And then that's as far in as I'll go. I'll dip my toe into it that far.
I won't even dip it in that far.
And that's the show. So yeah, but really for me, it's Hot Ones, it's Internet Historian. Sometimes I'll watch. There's a couple of like retro video game channels I'll watch that they do like retrospective stuff on games that are really good. Like the Gaming Historian. Yeah, things of that nature. Long form content is actually what I'm most interested in.
I like that too. I like long form.
Yeah. I will mention this, even though we're not in the right segment, and I'll wrap it up with this, just as a funny note. Once in a while, I'll watch a Donkey video, because Donkey does have a pretty funny fucking video every now and then. And so the funny thing is about that, though, is that he's decided to start his own publishing company. This just happened in like the last 24 hours. Video game publishing company. And there are a lot of people split about this. He's using his own funds to do this and go into it, and because of that, and I have to assume that he's doing this in good faith because he loves video games. Fucking all the power to him. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. People were talking about like, oh, he thinks that because he's played lots of games and has opinions on them that he'd somehow know enough about video games to be a publisher. To which I say, take a quick look at who's been leading publishers for the last fucking 40 years. It's a bunch of like suits of like failed people out of like Ivy League schools in the US that just kind of like they don't work out in their own fucking industry, so they end up literally getting like picked out of other industries to go head up publishing companies in gaming. So like this is probably the closest to an honest to God person attempting publishing in gaming in quite some time, and he's using his own money. So all the power to him. God fucking speed. It's indie games specifically, so we'll see what comes out of it. But yeah. I realized that right now, because I do also occasionally watch a Donkey video, because he does have some pretty funny shit once in a while, for sure. And that's going to be it. That's all we got time for. Mr. Black has to go make hundreds of millions of Bezo bucks in day 2 poker. And I might even have to tune in to watch all of it happen in real time. I might just have to. And at the very least, I have to watch for his Twitter announcement so that I can post my prerequisite Shawn Michaels gif.
Every fucking time. Man.
I do it because I have to imagine in the back of your mind you see it and you get a laugh out of it every fucking.
I laugh every time I see it, bro. Every time I fucking see it.
I'm running out of gifs though. At first I used all the ones where he had sunglasses, because all the pictures that you have with your fucking glasses on, and then I ran out of them, so I had to start I gotta get creative. I'm running out of gifts to use, but yeah, we'll leave it there. We'll see you guys hopefully next week, barring this hurricane taking out the entire province in the next 48 hours. And until then, stay safe out there, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Peace.